Transition. And then just click out of studio. Perfect. You're looking fucking amazing. Amazing. Oh, footsies.
Sir.
Any podcast. I'm your host, Joe B. Sit with me, Mr. Billy C.
I'm back.
Special guest, Mr. Carl Soderberg. Friend of the show, old show, new show. Owner of, or co-founder of Ebenezer.
And a good drinking buddy.
Yes.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Good camping, buddy. I can't wait to go camping, dude. I'm excited.
I'm pretty
Oh,
stoked.
that's right. You guys still going in October?
Yeah.
Yeah, later in October. It seems to get later every year that I've seen.
What do you say we go Halloween?
And they tend to jump in the water there, so I'm bringing my towel. I did not last year. That was a new twist. I was like, all right. Next year I'll do it. But now it's like, oh, it's going to be, I think, a week or two later than what we went last year. So probably a little bit more colder in that water.
Well, I don't know. The way the seasons have been running, you're like a month behind on the seasons. It's freaking mad rainy all the way through June.
Yeah.
We never luck out with the weather. Year one, we almost lost a guy. Year two weather was pretty good. Year three, we almost lost two of us on the boat on the way out.
So this seems like a good year. This is the off year where you don't lose anybody.
We basically go as late as you're supposed to on the water in New Hampshire.
Just before when they
So
pull
right
the docks,
before the frost,
basically.
yeah.
They come by scooping up the docks, and you're like, all right, guess we're stuck here.
It's going to be great sleeping weather. It's going to be 30.
Perfect.
Perfect.
We are brought to you by Official Clothing. Go to ohfishl.com. Use code ANYPOD. Save yourself 25% and get shirts, dope-ass hats. If you were here at the live YouTube, you saw the official commercial. We get new videos every week.
What is paused up there?
What is pause? I don't know.
Hopefully it's not the audio.
No. You're not even on the thing. Look,
There you go.
Billy's favorite part is the chat.
Oh, God, I hate this.
Loves it. He's like,
Well, okay.
they're talking shit about me.
Guess what?
This is my first time live on YouTube, and I am fascinated by this. Like,
I rectified the criticisms last time, all right? So I tanned up the legs so I'm not so bright on the lights. And I had my wife dress me. So now I match. I need clothes that match. Find me something my own.
So Official Clothing, they take a lot of hip-hop logos or sports logos, and they flip them, give it a little parody of the official view. They're nice. They're comfortable. If you ever need shirt, guys, I know you get mad shirts. There's actually a shirt I want to talk to you that I missed.
oh, boy.
But I want to know if you still have them. But we'll get to that. And we are on the InnerCircle Podcast Network. You can go to InnerCirclePN.com, see all the InnerCircle shows there, including our exclusive content such as Comedy is Dead, the Sports Podcast, and the Slimmer Circle, which is a diet, nutritional podcast. It's good shit. They know their shit. But the sports one is killing it right now. Like,
How'd your vacation fare on your weight loss?
It's starting over. Not really. No, I mean, I was good until I came back, and now actually being back is where I've been more stuff in my face. Like, oh my God, I missed everything. Like,
you didn't go to well, you almost went to a foreign country. You went to Florida, so everything's different down there.
It was just a lot of different stops, a lot of like on the go for the most part, but it was a good vacation. It was nice and calm. The sun caught us rocking the RV, which whatever, we had a discussion. It was kind of awkward, but
this
funny.
Is what,
like
a month after the weed conversation.
Yeah, basically a month after he found out that his old man smokes pot, usually on show nights. But yeah, you can go there. You can find all the other shows. Simmons and More, #NoOffense.
The Plunge.
When you party naked, The Plunge, and the Hood Diner, which one of their guys is the guy that runs Official. So he's pretty dope. He does music videos, different pictures, graphics for guys. Dude, he puts out some cool shit. I'm enjoying it.
A lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, so in my travels, I didn't... So the one thing with being on the go is I didn't get to go to as many breweries as I would have liked to. So we got to try, one was Two Frogs, which we got a sticker from them, but they're 2 years old, but they don't can at all. Just the growlers, and I'm like, that's not gonna last on my trip to bring home. So I was there, and then when I met up with Chris, we went to Four Stacks, which they had some cool stuff. They were just getting ready to open up their.
That's his
stuff.
joint, right? Like he loves going to that place.
Yeah. I mean, it's right in his town. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they had one beer. Oh, it was gross. It was like a white IPA. It almost tasted like a wine.
Judging by that look, he's like, okay.
If it almost tasted like a wine, then they did it wrong.
Ooh.
That was my first taste. I'm like, nope. And she's like, oh, this is like our third or fourth sold beer. I'm like, yeah, I'm just not feeling that one. Like whatever that flavor is not. Tastes like a wine. I'm not digging it.
Did you find something you love though?
They had a couple of different IPAs that were all tasty. But yeah, the rest of them were good. I got a flight, and that was the one. It was 5 I got.
It's a pretty good hit rate.
Yeah.
So yeah, the 5 they were all different types of IPAs, but.
Do you like frequenting other bar like
I
breweries?
love going to other breweries. I just never really have the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would imagine not.
I mean, so I've been to all the ones around here in the greater Manchester, Nashua area because it's convenient, but there's a lot of breweries. I mean, we were the 19th brewery to open in New Hampshire, and now there's over 80 or close to 80.
It was like
so there's a lot of breweries I got to catch up on.
Yeah.
Geez, I haven't been up to 1766 yet. I hear that one's really cool. I'd love to go see the new Shilling. I'd love to go see. Crap, what the hell's that guy's place? Oh, I haven't been to Liar's Bench yet. I haven't been to. There's another one that just opened in Portsmouth. They all have clever names too. Liar's Bench. I have to go to that one. I haven't been to the new Great Rhythm. I hear their new facility is awesome.
Oh, they opened a new one?
It's been a couple years now, but I haven't been. But yeah, I love going to breweries. I love trying beer. I hate getting flights because I hate pouring them. So I don't order. I just pick something and I go for it.
Have you ever heard of Treehouse out of Massachusetts?
Yes, I've heard of Treehouse.
Have you been there?
No, I haven't been.
You haven't been there? Apparently, it's not a place where you go and have a beer. You just go and order.
I heard they recently changed that.
They might.
They recently changed that. I think it's kind of cool. I mean, Treehouse is like the brewery that a lot of us in the craft beer business, especially the independent craft beer business, look up to because they are 100% independent and they're able to. I mean, they're so good at what they do that they're both from a product production and a marketing standpoint, they're so good at it that they can remain 100% independent and the customers come to them. So it's kind of, as a craft brewer, that's what you always want to be. But so I haven't been, but from what I heard, they renovated because even with the expansion, they had such long lines and people sitting there waiting around doing nothing that they ended up building or reconfiguring the structure so that the line wrapped through like a bar, like an outside bar. So if you're in line, you're still at a bar and can get a beer.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a cool idea.
He said it was like a Disneyland kind of line where it kind of weaves in and out.
Yeah.
And you just see people walking by with like cases of beer and like dollies full of beer. And
see, I can't bring myself to spend that much on beer, but part of that is because I make it. So right. I have a lot of beer that I can pull from inventory. And I mean, at the end of the day, I really love the beers that we make most, and it's just because that's me. It's a product that I fell in love with so much I was willing to share it with others. So it's we make the perfect beers for my standards, so I can just pull from inventory and I'm very happy. But I love bartering beer, so that makes it really easy to barter beer. I love trading for breweries I've never had before. I don't know. Being in beer is fun, man. That's the whole point of the business, is to have fun. Yeah, I really dig it.
That's my whole thing. After I was told that you go in there, you're going to spend a couple $100 if you want to try some stuff. But I mean, you get what you pay for, though. You get they're like all full pint cans. They're all, you can get big quart cans too, but I guess it's worth the money that you spend on it. So, but I can't picture going in there spending.
Depends on the person. I mean, whatever if someone wants to drop $90 on multiple cases and throw $500 around on a weekend for beer, it's like, that's baller money right there.
That's my stock for the summer.
Good for you. That's awesome. It's just not. I don't know.
You don't have to do that.
I don't consider myself really that good.
Alchemist.
I haven't been there either.
I mean, you get like a stand-up, but they just give you like tasters.
Oh, really?
So you're just getting like samples, like they're
because they don't charge you for them either.
Yeah,
I think that's
free,
state law.
right? So they just they give you samples. They can try what they have on tap, and then you're just buying either their merch or fucking cases of fucking beer. That's what people do. It's a cool ass building. Like, it's huge for their shit that they have. Yeah.
I've heard it. I've heard a lot of people tell me you got to go there, but I just haven't made it up there yet. And I go to.
It's a far ride.
I go to Vermont all the time, so.
Yeah, that is true. You do.
I don't know exactly where they are in relevance to where I go, but I'm assuming it's probably at least 2 hours away. But
do you listen to podcasts, Wally? So there's a new app called Podcoin, where if you're already listening to them, you might as well listen to it on their app. It's kind of tedious to re-download everything you're listening to, but they give you a coin per 10 minutes of listening. And then with that coin, you can trade them in to get like Amazon gift cards or coffee gift cards, or donate to charity, clean water, food, fucking. It's interesting. But if you use code ANYPOD, you get 300 coins right off the bat.
Sweet.
But yeah, if you're ever just driving around like shit, maybe I should listen to something.
I listen to podcasts all the time.
Yeah, then
even in the production floor. Little wireless earbuds, just listening to podcasts.
It's the only way I can do it. I can't listen in my car.
I'm getting amped up for fantasy football right now, man.
Are you really?
Hell yeah.
Training
camp just started.
Last year was the first year because I haven't played in 5 or 6 years, and last year was the first year in a while that I missed. I missed playing because they totally redid the league I used to be in, where they're now not doing the just straight vanilla standard point system. Like, they're doing head-to-heads, they're doing PPR, like the receptions, the tackles, all that shit, which makes it more interesting for me. But before, I was just doing so bad every year that I just couldn't do it anymore.
You used to be in a league that just had total points.
That's all we
year.
did.
Those leagues are awful.
And every year, we all wanted to change it.
That is the worst format.
And our commissioner refused to change it.
It took until it changed hands.
Yeah, and then it changed to a different commissioner. Like 2 years after I left, they completely restructured how they do it. And I'm like, it's been 10 years going through that same point system, where it's just like
it's way better now, man.
It is. I know people who do them. I still keep up with it. It's just.
Speaking of which, I mean, we're kind of doing one.
We are.
The show is.
So I guess I'm back into fantasy football. I need to pay attention more. Good thing we brought this up.
Dude, training camp just started.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of moves around the league already. You think they get Josh Gordon back?
Yes.
I know they still own his contract, but I don't know if the league's going to let him back in. Supposedly,
second half of the year, maybe?
I don't think he'd be eligible. I think he has to. If he doesn't start training camp, I think he can't play until week 6.
Yeah, right. Automatically.
I think that's how it works. Like, if you're on the PUP list or the DL for a certain amount of time, or you're in suspension mode, I don't think you can play till week 6, which still wouldn't be bad. That's 10 games they'd get him for. But I don't know.
I think he'll be back.
They're supposedly going to lighten up on the marijuana law, like rules in the NFL, because of all the states that are legalizing it. It's almost like busting them and suspending them for drinking alcohol. So that'd be interesting to see. They stop suspending guys.
I mean, they changed it in the UFC.
Did they?
Yeah, because Diaz used to get in trouble. That's what Nick Diaz got in trouble for, was fucking weed.
Testing positive for weed?
Yeah. Where he got like 5 years fucking with. That's their beef with the UFC. Well, that and Dana White, just in general. But yeah, so they had to loosen it up. Nevada legalized it. What are you going to say?
True.
Shouldn't be on the commission. It's legal there.
The Raiders aren't going till next year, right? Are they building the stadium right now?
It's being built right now.
Oh. That's going to be interesting.
Are you going to storm Area 51?
No. Fuck off. I love how the Air Force came out like they even had to flex a little, like, you guys can come, but we're prepared. I don't think that was real. Like,
some idiots will show up. If we're going to rally, why aren't we rallying around like the Federal Reserve or something? Like something real. Jeez.
They said it, I think as of yesterday, they had like 1.2 million people going. But I would guarantee you that 2/3 of those people are just going because they think it's funny. They're not really going. Like, they're just clicking on the link. And the guy who posted it even said, this started off as a joke and it got serious real quick. Well, you're fucking
I'm
with
sure
the
people
military.
will still show up.
They
They're
probably
fucking
will.
Dumb.
I would not be surprised to see the news saying 20,000 people showed up at the gates of Area 51 and quickly left.
That was actually funny that you said the Federal Reserve. That was actually the shirt that I was referring to earlier, was your taxation is theft shirt.
Might have a couple left.
I saw one Saturday. I should have bought it then.
See them every week.
Do you actually believe that taxation is theft? Obviously you do. Like, you put on a fucking shirt. So I'm curious, like...
No, that's a complicated question, but so part of making the shirt was because customers were asking for it. Like, it was a funny thing. Like, they think about Ebenezer. Our entire brand is built around sticking it to the government because the British were trying to steal this man's property, or basically everybody's property. So the back at that time, like they were literally being stolen from right off their property. Today, it's you take your property and your effort, you convert it into money, and in that process of converting it to money, they tax you. So it's a more clever way of doing it. But they're literally taking stuff from you. So, but it's on brand, and people really wanted it. And my job as a business owner is to give customers what they want. So, I mean, it's regardless of what my politics are. I'm not trying to be political. I just thought it was funny. And a lot of the seriously, like the first batch of T-shirts I paid for myself. Because I wasn't sure if they were going to sell. I didn't want to put that risk on the company. To get 72 T-shirts in, which is like the bare minimum batch, it cost me like $900, $1,000, and I pre-sold all of them before they even went on our shelf. They never went on our shelves, and I had to order a second batch right when the first one arrived, and 2 weeks later, all of those were gone. I ended up pulling a bunch of those, setting them aside because I knew people were going to come in after the fact. So you let me know what size. But never in the history of our company have we sold T-shirts that quickly, like pre-sold, prepaid.
I'm sure it's a strong feeling. There was an article I saw the other day.
So as far as I'm concerned, I gave all the politicians out there a free survey. Like, why are so many people buying these shirts and so fired up to give me money for these goofy shirts? Like,
my opinion on I've seen the shirt, so I mean, my opinion on it is it's just satire. I mean, it's just a joke. I don't think it's even a political thing, but I want to know how many people have stuck their finger in your face about it. Like, seen it.
Not a lot, actually, but this is New Hampshire. I mean, this is live free or die country. So, I mean, look, no one's calling for anarchy in the streets, but I think one of the things that makes New Hampshire special is they really believe in like personal independence, and like New Hampshire as a culture has embraced that. And I think that's why New Hampshire's been so successful, economically compared to a lot of other states. So I think like no one's calling for anarchy in the streets. People believe in paying for local services, which is why a lot of people like our structure of governance here, where most of the money stays local through property taxes. So if you really have a problem with it, you can go yell at your neighbor who's the town councilor, or you can go to the town hall on Tuesday nights.
Right.
Yeah. So you have a bit of a say over the money. The moment the money goes to fucking Washington, D.C., and now even more so when it goes to Concord, you start to wonder, like, how are those dollars coming back to me? And simply by like asking that question of like, what services am I paying for? It's like you start to offend people. But surprisingly, here in New Hampshire, the taxation is theft shirts, most popular T-shirt we've ever had, and I think I maybe had 3 people have an issue with it.
That's good.
So I mean, it's not.
I would have been dumbfounded.
There were people who tried to make it into like a controversy, like tried to make it into a huge deal, and it just never took off.
That's what I was getting at, because I would have been totally.
Where is the outrage?
I would have been totally dumbfounded if you had said not a single person made an.
You should come see our brand new cornhole boards. We had a set of regular customers that loved the T-shirts so much they ordered us a new set of custom cornhole boards with that design.
Yeah,
it says taxation is theft.
That's dope.
Nobody bats an eye at them. I haven't had a lady come in and yell at us for offending her. So,
yeah, I didn't think it was political when I asked. I was just curious of like.
I don't think it represents anything political, anyways. Just in what it says, the way it's put together and designed. I mean, I don't take that as a political statement. I mean, if I read it, I looked at it, I wasn't offended. But I think we're getting out of the outrage culture, so.
Hopefully, maybe not. No, what are you talking about?
Maybe not.
There's
after what just happened.
Black woman 007 for bond 25. It's not as bad as you think, but it'll be interesting to see.
And people were outraged about this?
Yeah.
I know they were outraged about The Little Mermaid.
Yeah, for multiple reasons, I guess. It'll be interesting to see what they say now that they got the error.
People are always looking for something to be offended about. I
Which
mean,
is weird because I am not. Like, who has time to, like, look for something to be mad at? Like,
fucking everybody these days.
People
I
on
have
Twitter.
No reason to, like,
People on Twitter.
look for, but even the shit I see on Twitter, like, I just
when
keep
you
it
can
moving,
go on
like-
your smoke break and fire off 6 opinions towards someone in a political fashion, I mean, that's why people are so easily outraged, because they can spout off their opinions real quick.
I don't know
a bunch
what
of
it
likes
is,
and
but
retweets.
there's definitely something culturally that's like happening, and I don't know what it is exactly yet, but there's definitely more anger out there. But I'm starting to see like, I don't know. You look at like interactions on social media, and you see like someone go on a huge tirade about something Trump said, or going on a huge tirade about taxation is theft T-shirts, and then you look at the interaction. And you're like, all right, not a lot of people care about this. It's
Right.
I think people are just getting exhausted. They're getting exhausted of the political correctness. They're getting exhausted of being told what they're not supposed to do. I mean, that's kind of what Trump was, right? Like a big finger to the system. And I think that Trump is just the beginning of that. I think we have a long cycle to go through now of like drastic change politically, culturally.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But I think taxation is theft is a part of it because people don't like having things taken from them if they don't know where it's going.
right.
So I think at some level, whatever level of taxation or fee structures or whatever that you agree with, at the end of the day, like the amount of taxes the average person is paying, at a certain point, a portion of that, they do feel like they're getting robbed. And I think that's the point of the shirt is like the moment you're taking something from a piece of property from somebody unwillingly, that is theft. Because what happens if you stop paying your taxes?
They'll come and take your shit, all of it,
With guns.
They will
kick in the door. They will put you on the news, make an example out of you, take all your shit, garnish your wages.
Just
Well,
ask
there's,
that couple here in New Hampshire.
That's the one
Yeah.
bill you
There
can't
was-
miss, man.
There was
Nope.
one in Texas earlier that the judge, like after they gave them their something about because they were religious, so they didn't feel they should have to pay taxes, blah, blah, blah. And then the judge is like, nah, fuck off. Here, you owe us 1.2 million, 1.6 million. It's like, damn. All right, well, pay your shit.
Shouldn't have got behind on your bill.
Come on, Wesley Snipes.
There's a lot of them out there, man. A lot of
They
those
made an
celebrities.
example out of Wesley Snipes.
Yes, they did.
Yes, they
Yes,
did.
That's
Yes, they
unfair.
That's what they do, man. You can't mess with their money. Like,
That man has been reduced to Comic-Cons appearances, like for money. That's about all he's doing right now.
No, he's working with Marvel. They're gonna get a Blade movie going. It's just
Another one?
yeah,
All right.
reboot the thing. Come on, he's a daywalker.
We're going.
You know, black don't crack. He still look like he's 20.
It's true. Maybe not 20, but he's still looking young, I guess. Is he in shape? You seen him lately?
No, I just read articles.
Oh, okay. You sound like you've been hanging out personally.
I like Wesley Snipes, bro. He's a good.
I didn't say I
martial
didn't
artist.
like Wesley Snipes.
Back in the day, they did like a martial arts demo, and he was like the host, like when Blade was all in its glory.
One of
There
my
was
least
some girl-
favorite
I mean-
Marvel movies. Sorry.
Damn, bro.
It's not bad, but it was just one of my least favorite.
That's fucked up.
And you know what? I think I really liked the first one. The second one was not that good.
No, second was horrible.
I don't
The
even
third
think I
one
saw
was-
the third
Actually,
one.
1 and 2 were good. The third one was the one that's always controversial, whether it sucked or not. And it had Ryan Reynolds in it.
Did it? Oh, yeah, it did.
Mm.
Still don't think I ever saw the whole thing. Sorry.
How dare you?
I know.
Did you do the old man face picture? Do you know what I'm talking about? No.
Don't do it. It was put out by a Russian software company.
Yeah, but see, so the thing is, right, if you read into it, their servers are actually in America, and they're owned by Google and Amazon,
Yeah.
which I wouldn't worry about the Russian front company because Amazon has that deal with the CIA. It was like a $6 million deal. So if they're the one housing that shit, yeah, I don't.
It's just a bunch
They're
of
the
facial
ones
recognition
leaking it.
shit.
I know. What would you look like when you're 80? What
They're-
do you look like as a girl? What do you look like as a baby? Look at my face.
It's so they can always find you because
Minority Report is
they're trying
coming.
to inch us. They're using Toronto right now as a test place for this whole, like, have you heard about this? Toronto is trying to turn themselves into basically like a utopian society. Like, everything is going to be on camera. Everything is going to be switched to chip paying. Everything is going to be like fingerprinting and like constantly recording. They were talking on Rogan, like the average American in a big city is on camera 300 times a day. In Toronto, you're on camera over 600 times a day. That's like everything you're doing during the day, aside from probably your private residence, you're being filmed or on camera. And they're using the facial recognition stuff to find people running red lights or like, but they're just doing all these upgrades to the city and the infrastructure to make it more of a
we're watching you.
Not so much we're watching you, but more of a community based thing through technology is their ultimate goal. And I think that's a test for the rest of us.
All right. Well, there's Estonia, that they have it. It's a chip. It's your fucking license, has everything, all your information, bank, fucking everything, Social Security, like it's all on a card. That's how you do everything.
What is it? I think it was Sweden just went to no cash. They got rid of all their currency. Everything is digital only. Not that their currency was really worth much. Most of it had dropped to, almost worthless anyways. But they had found out that it was like 80-something% of people in the country didn't even use cash. Everything was done on debit cards, credit cards, swiping, Apple Pay, Samsung Pay. Like nobody was using cash. So they just got rid of the whole system and just moved everything to digital.
Fuck that.
So...
That's how they track you, man.
Yeah.
P2P payments is how you get away with shit.
I want to know how you go to a strip club. Do you just throw your debit card out?
No, you probably just like tap something on the fucking bar that tips them, you know what I mean? Like dollar is amazing.
Puts up a light so they come over to your side of the stage.
Which is all and good until fucking like some solar flare wipes out shit or fucking some big ass disaster that happens. I mean, whether you have some backup, but if that ever happens.
I was resistant to the security chip that they put in your debit cards. So my bank just sent me a new debit card because apparently there was some sort of
you got hacked?
My debit card number showed up on some list that they have or whatever. So they just sent me a new debit card. I'm like, what the fuck is this? So I call the bank and they're like, yeah, you showed up on a list. So we just replaced your debit card for you. And it's got the tap feature. So you don't have to slide it in or swipe it or put in your PIN number or anything. You just tap it to the screen and it done. And I was resistant to do stuff like that, but it's really easy.
It's also harder for them to
get your credit card number,
unless they hack that model like differently than a fucking scammer, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I listened to this podcast that talks about like hacking and like the dark web shit, and like you can go on they have these dark web sites that anybody can go to if you have a Tor browser, and you can buy credit cards numbers for like bundles, like $20 you get like 10 credit card numbers. Some of them may work, some of them may not.
Yeah, fuck that. Like, dude, I'm not trying to go to jail for a long ass time.
Right. They're supposed to be untraceable, but I think they're traceable.
Ass, bro.
Right?
Fuck that. I'd be the one that would get caught.
But that's how easy it is to get your credit card information stolen. Like almost every major corporation has had a breach where they have had some sort of personal information stole from these places.
All that shit's gonna go away.
Yeah. Eventually, it's all gonna be right here. Just iris scans.
Well, that Neuralink that Elon Musk is working on?
Yeah. I think we're more likely to go back than forward.
I think a lot will go forward with that too. Like,
hopefully, you know people who can live off the land, because I think we're gonna be at that point before we're at like Neuralinks.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to start hunting and fucking doing all that bullshit. So we're live every Wednesday night, and with that comes the live chat. So we do have a few people in here. Looks like just Chris and DJ. But Chris said you're nuts.
I'm nuts about what?
I don't know. I know he had to check out in a little bit. He's got to record a show, but live every Wednesday night. What's that?
They're still doing that thing?
What thing?
That show?
The podcast of the Round Table?
Oh, it's the Round Table.
Well, they're discussing it tonight. Like what show?
Hashtag no offense.
Damn, that's fucked up. They got the star.
I feel like
they got
I
the talent.
do the flex move with the wide legs like last week.
To show the nuts off?
Yeah, that was a power move all day long. I was sitting at home watching the show because I was working late, so I couldn't make it. And I flipped on the YouTube channel, and I'm watching, and one of the guys he had in, Jason, from one of the other shows, is sitting there in shorts. Like, they almost look like shorts, but he's sitting there with these things as wide as he can get them, and just flexing power move of like, and someone called him out on him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got kind of an ego anyway.
Yeah, he does.
Right. It's what happens. But I'm glad you have a few shirts left.
Totally.
Oh, you're nuts that the outrage culture is over.
I said it's working towards being over.
Yeah, well,
people are still getting mad.
You got off social media because
we just had a fresh.
Are you gonna come back to social media?
Okay.
Are you gonna come back to social media?
No, I'm not coming back to social media.
Would you like your beer? Another one of these?
Whatever you want, man.
I got off social media because I think Twitter, especially, is a dumpster fire. I think Facebook has come to a point where it's good to advertise businesses and stuff, and community events and things like that to get people like rallied around. But for the average person, that's on Facebook, and I'm excluding, like I said, community stuff, charity stuff, businesses and stuff. I'm just talking about your everyday person who's on your friends list, is either there for attention or they're of the older generation and they finally figured out how to post things like without asking their kids. Like that's where I've gotten to with Facebook. Like, oh, check out my family.
There's a lot of old people on Twitter. It is funny.
Is there?
Yeah, but
you gotta follow more interesting people, man.
Yeah.
Aren't you supposed to be there?
I love Facebook. Like Facebook, Instagram.
See, I like Instagram.
I've tried to do Snapchat. It's just too much work. I don't have that much time on my phone. I don't spend that much.
I am on Instagram.
Reddit, I really dig.
My kid goes on Reddit.
I go on
Reddit.
Dude,
Reddit's legit.
It is. I like going on Reddit.
I've only been on it for a couple of months, but I love Reddit.
You can get in a rabbit hole real quick on Reddit if you look up the right things.
Oh yeah, you got to follow the conspiracy thread.
Oh, that shit's so great.
That sub is awesome.
Yeah, so
a lot of Q talk.
Yeah, some of it.
Right now, it's a lot of Epstein talk.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
That dude's fucked.
And how Area 51 is a distraction from it.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
Well, I'm surprised they haven't switched over to the new squad talk.
Well, that and Trump's racist tweets.
That's what I said. The squad's he's calling them the squad.
They're not even talking about that.
They're not even talking about that yet? That's crazy.
Shit trending on conspiracy sub right now is it's a lot of Epstein shit. And that's actually about it I can think of.
What's the conspiracy with Epstein? Because the dude who
been trafficking
island.
Oh, well, I know what he got. I know what he got arrested for and got in trouble for again.
Bill Clinton's been there 26 times or something like that.
Apparently, there's a long list of America's powerful elite that are deeply tied in.
Does not surprise me.
Including potentially Trump.
Yeah, I saw the pictures.
Definitely doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, but he's supposed to be the white knight and all
Supposedly, Trump has the best excuse out of everybody because I guess, he has documented evidence of 15 years ago. He found out that Epstein was recruiting, underage hostesses from his resort in Mar-a-Lago, and he banned Epstein from the premises and ceased talking to him after that.
Weren't they neighbors or something?
They were best buds in New York City.
Yeah.
Up until 2003, 2004, and then I guess Trump booted Epstein from his resort because he found out he was recruiting underage girls to travel on his plane.
Then shortly after that, didn't he get arrested, go to jail for 13 months, and the dude who
potentially
sent him there on the light sentence was the one that got fired or resigned. I don't think he got fired. I think he resigned.
I get the feeling there's a big story breaking right now, and there's a lot of distracting bullshit that's starting to come into the fold.
All the misinformation.
Like today in the House, they had a huge, a big hearing about cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin. That's another distraction.
Yeah, why?
What's the discussion about? It's a bad thing. It's
So I think it has to do with Facebook's cryptocurrency.
Oh,
they're coming out with.
Yeah.
So basically, Facebook stepping into the crypto world awakened the House to be like, all right, we have to address this crypto thing. So they put together a House panel or something, and they had their first hearing today.
Seems ill-timed for Facebook to jump into something like that. You know, just coming off the security thing and the campaign thing a couple years ago.
Dude, Facebook is taking over.
They're legit. You're right. They're up there with Disney.
So the government understands the implication of a Facebook cryptocurrency, because a Facebook cryptocurrency means that not only are you living most of your social life digitally, now you're living your spending life digitally. And by the way, that currency isn't controlled by the federal government via the Federal Reserve. That currency is now controlled by a private entity based in California. So the federal government understands the economics of that. Like, the reason why they have the Federal Reserve and pseudo manage the Federal Reserve is to manage the U.S. economy through policy. There's no more monetary policy requirement for the federal government. Like, they lose control of America's economy. Whether or not that's a good thing or a bad thing is debatable, but that's how this is playing out. Facebook deciding they want to have a cryptocurrency. The U.S. government basically is like, the majority of our population is on Facebook. Now they can just convert their money to Facebook money, and it's called Libra. It's a cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
And it's not just Facebook's project. It's a shitload of other payment processors.
PayPal and all them are in on it.
Yeah.
Didn't they say Google might be getting in with Facebook on it?
I don't know.
Are they part owner in Facebook?
When they announced the project, there was over 30 partners, and it was big partners.
I did
big
hear
retailers.
about that. Are you a cryptocurrency guy?
Oh yeah.
You're about it.
It's the future of money.
The whole no centralized. See, I think it's a great thing. The whole getting out of that centralized. You were saying.
I think what's happening right now is there's an awakening. The fact that it was talked about today. It just shows that there's the federal government now recognizes that there's a threat to the Federal Reserve System, and that people could voluntarily leave it by exchanging their U.S. dollars for crypto. And then there's no one knows what that does. What does that do to the financial system of the U.S. government?
But can't they do that still now? I mean, I get crypto's worse stuff, but I think with your Cash App and all the other different payment apps, like Cash App, I could deposit my check into my Cash App thing, so that would still take the bank out of it. But I guess they would still be getting interest and all that, so not fully would it take it out.
I think it's brilliant for Facebook to be the one to get in on it, because I think that's really the only thing that's going to push it far enough. Because if you ask the average person,
so that was the discussion that was today. Was so the U.S. government wants Facebook to halt the project until they can review it and make sure that it's compliant, and how do we regulate it, and basically how does the government get their share. But a lot of the big discussion today was look, if we're having this discussion now, you're already behind the curve. Bitcoin's been around for 10 years, and it's been
the average person though is just now learning about that.
So it has a ton of proof of work behind it. And a lot of people acknowledge today that you could tell Facebook to stop building their cryptocurrency with all of their partners. We keep calling it Facebook's cryptocurrency. It really isn't. It's a project of several dozen big U.S. companies.
Just referred to as Libra?
It's led by Facebook, and it's called Libra. So sure, they could tell Facebook, a U.S.-based company, stop with your crypto project, and Facebook would have to stop. But other cryptos that already exist, they're going to keep going, and there's no way to stop them. Short of turning off everyone's internet, there's no way to stop it.
Well, I think that's why it's great that Facebook is the one putting, I know it's not theirs, but they're putting their face to it, which is brilliant because, like I said, just now, you ask the average person what Bitcoin is, and most people would be able to tell you it's some sort of cryptocurrency. They don't know how it works. They don't know anything about it, but it's been around for 10 years. And, I mean, we've known about it for a few years. I'd say I've probably known about it for about 5, but now they're putting it to millions of people who had no idea what it was, and it's the same thing. It's just they can explain it on their platform right there and give everybody the information they need for it. And now you have millions of people who are informed about it, as opposed to the average person not knowing anything about Bitcoin.
But do you
What's
trust
the other one?
Facebook after all this shit? I mean, there's a ton of.
If it were
So
just Facebook,
That's actually
no.
that's a big debate in the crypto community right now, because a lot of the people in the crypto community don't see the Facebook cryptocurrency as a true cryptocurrency because it's not decentralized. Its network and its supply is controlled by a committee that's put together by all of these business partners. And, whether or not that works, that's fine, but it's not a fully decentralized one. So the people who really bought into Bitcoin in the beginning and its implications economically worldwide, the people who bought into that vision, they're scoffing at a Facebook crypto because they're like, all right, you're jumping on a bandwagon, but you're not actually fulfilling I guess the meaning. Like there's a purpose behind Bitcoin. Because Bitcoin was developed by an anonymous cryptologist, or whatever.
It was a Japanese
cryptographer, whatever the word
is. Japanese guy, right?
Yeah.
He was. I think he was.
No one knows.
His
name is
His
name is Satoshi Nakamoto, but people think it might be one person. It might be a group of basically programmers wrote this paper explaining how this software would work. They wrote the software, they published it, and the first Bitcoins started being mined. And so that paper was an idea of like, how do we use the wonder of the internet and the wonder of digital cryptography. I'm not
something like that.
Using that to change the world for the better. And so the idea was, after the recession, and this is kind of how a lot of people saw it, after the recession in 07, 08, people blamed the banks and they blamed the big firms and clearinghouses, whatever else. Yeah.
And the government for bailing them out.
Yeah, so you had the Tea Party movement come out of that, and then you had Occupy movement come out of that, and they were all targeted at the same thing, the big financial institutions, people who control money, central banks. And Bitcoin gets rid of all of that. Bitcoin is a currency controlled by the people who own it.
Yeah.
It's completely decentralized. There's no bank to hack. There's no...
See, that's where I would want to be with my money and to convert.
So in a world, you bring up credit card fraud, like people stealing credit cards.
Yeah.
That's the problem there, is that you have a central clearinghouse. You have a central payment processor that is taking and holding your credit card numbers to process a payment to go from your bank account to the other. You have a central system that's transferring those payments. The moment that they get hacked, whether it's Amazon or Visa or some medical company that happens to be performing the transactions, like that's where the shit goes wrong. On Bitcoin, you could pull up the Bitcoin ledger right now and watch transactions in real time, and you could go all the way back to the very first transaction.
Well, that's what I was going to say next. Isn't the best thing about Bitcoin that comes out of Bitcoin and true cryptocurrency is the blockchain, where you can follow everything?
Yeah, it's a distributed that's why it's impossible to break, because once the ledger is written, it can't be altered. So if you went back and tried to steal Bitcoin from somebody by switching addresses on a previous transaction, that would fuck up the whole chain, and the nodes would deny the transactions, and they would go back to the previous version of the chain. So it's blockchain is a whole different thing. Like, people associate blockchain and crypto, because they were both born out of the same thing, but blockchain has applications.
A lot of businesses are using it now, right?
It's distributed ledger, and it's just basically a recording of everything. So, like, IBM's doing a lot of it right now with supply chain. So, like, medical devices and farms and, like, worldwide shipping, they're using a distributed ledger blockchain to keep track of records, medical records. You can do, like, and people are coming up with new ideas of how to implement it, because it creates a trustless system. You don't need to keep as many records. You don't need to have a verifying body. You're just using, the internet's a beautiful thing, and this is like distributed ledger technology is just something that makes everybody's life a little easier.
Yeah. I'm down for it. I'm into the crypto.
Like, blockchain's going to be huge. I don't know much about how to, like, invest in blockchain outside of cryptos, but companies like IBM are on the forefront of, like, finding ways to use blockchain in real world applications outside of crypto.
That's why I think Facebook is. I don't think their crypto is ever going to take off. That whole conglomerate of people.
I think Facebook getting into it just told all the politicians that all right, this isn't a fad.
It's informing everybody too.
This is a real thing.
They brought it to the forefront. They did what nobody's really done with Bitcoin. Like nobody wanted to come out and make this big thing about buying Bitcoin. People bought into it. They made some money. You know, they invest in it, and it's been, like you said, for 10 years, kind of a quiet thing that people are investing in, and now more people are going to know what it is and how it works and how the applications of it can work and where it could be in your life in 5 years.
And how will they will try to stop it.
Well, that's the beauty of it. Like you said,
no, without shutting off the power. But if you look at net neutrality, right, that's how they control it, right? You're fucking, you want internet to do all this shit, fucking jack up prices. Like, now there's no limit to what they can charge for your faster shit. I mean, when we moved here, I had like the fastest shit, and then when I called up to, I forget, something about the new, like a new modem or whatever to cancel the security, we got the Ring instead, and it was like, I'm like, what? Where am I at for internet? And like, oh well, you're in the middle. I'm like, in the middle? Like I had one of the fucking top ones. What do you mean I'm in the middle? It's like, yeah, there's 2 more packages above you. It's like, all right, well, I'll just take the next one down, I guess. Like I don't need top shit, but I'll take, higher, I guess. Like it wasn't that much, but
I think my average is like 300 to 400 megabits per second. My Xbox will run at 5.
Yeah.
It's hardwired, but I mean, even my Wi-Fi is somewhere around 3. I got a lot of fucking devices in my house, so.
Well, that's the thing, right? So if you're running, your phone or your computer, your tablet, fucking for whatever to do your transactions, like you need that internet. So and it's faster
the amount of people that like piggyback onto my Wi-Fi, like my friends and stuff. There's probably 20 phones that come through my house on a regular basis that hook to the Wi-Fi. That's not including the kids' tablets, devices, TVs, Rokus.
All that shit.
Google's, Alexas. I just set off a bunch of people's stuff. But yeah. Did you hear about the research thing that they just they went to, I think it was Congress they had to fight through the legal system to get the numbers for how many opioids were sold from 2006 to 2012.
Probably
and they want 72 billion pills were distributed. Most of them in smaller towns in the Midwest. And that's where the opioid epidemic came from.
That's not
72 billion pills distributed.
That part I would believe, but they started in Florida.
No, they do. But what I'm saying is in that 6-year period.
Florida fucking put out more prescriptions for pills than anybody.
Right, but in that 6-year period, most of the shipments
came from,
went to the Midwest.
I can see that there's nothing to do out there.
Right?
That's why heroin's so big. Well, I mean, the fact that you get, what do you think? It wasn't bad. This one's not bad for 10%.
No, it's pretty dope.
Like I'm not hating it. It's not overly done. Scofflaw Brewing.
It's definitely got a boozy like end of the glass aftertaste, but
I guess
it's not bad.
Yeah, well, you drank
it's
it
not
slow.
bad. I do. I don't want to drink it fast.
Okay.
I'll be sleeping on the floor mid-show.
That'd be
hot
funny.
in here.
I know it's hot, bro. She told me about this like fan thing that like it's super quiet. You pour water and it's supposed to cool it.
It's like an
and you can shut it
ionizer.
off. I don't know, man. Fucking, I gotta get different lighting for that.
I might quit the show
It's fucking
until
yummy.
October.
Fuck off.
November.
It ain't that bad.
It is
little
kind of
heat's
hot.
good for you. It is hot. I'm sweating. Trust me.
It's
That's why I
not. It's
have
not
put
the
hat
heat.
on.
It's the humidity that kills me. Like
Shut
I can
the fuck
deal.
up.
I can deal with the. I can deal with the heat.
Uh,
If it's 80 and like 100% humidity, fuck off.
Sweat is just fat crying.
Y'all are being
Yeah.
babies.
Yes.
You got cold beer.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it could be worse. I could be working in this shit.
Yeah, like I was today.
I
We're
was.
gonna have AC in the brewery.
No AC outside.
It's supposed to be nice tomorrow, but it's gonna be a hot fucking weekend.
I am so glad I'm not working Saturday. Like, I'm glad that 100-degree day that's coming is not on a work day.
Yeah, I have a friend coming up from Georgia. He's we're doing food and pool here. You stop by if you want. Jump in the pool.
Saturday?
Mm-hmm.
I do like pools.
Yeah.
It's
You're
not
holding
bad.
out on me, Joe. I didn't know you had a pool.
Yeah, man. It's out back.
I'm gonna be here every fucking day this summer.
Go ahead.
Show up early on Saturday
He's
because
gonna come home from work, see me in the backyard.
we came by when he was on vacation. No,
Did you?
no.
Matt,
We could have, but
Matt did.
I know he did. I know we could have, but we didn't.
But I didn't have anybody taking care of the pool, so he sent me a picture and it had like algae and shit. And I'm like, no,
Clean it, bitch. You're at my backyard.
He's like, I vacuumed a little bit. Yeah, it's a lot of work, right? Fucking. I know you gave up, but it took like a week to get it clear. So by last weekend, like it was fucking mint. We've been in every day except for today. Yeah, come by.
Show up early. There's gonna be a bunch of kids in the pool. You don't want to be in the pool when there's a bunch of kids.
No, you'd be fine. You just throw them out of the way.
We got one of those pools, those soft pools in my house. My kids are always like, "Come in, Dad." I'm like, "No,
No,
that
man,
thing's like a pee-pee bathtub, man. I ain't going in that thing. No way." It's got a filtration system,
Well, I mean, you
but
should teach your kids not to pee in the fucking pool. What?
it's
do you
not
mean?
me. It's not my kids I'm worried about. It's all the neighborhood kids.
Yell at them.
I'm not yelling at nobody. I don't even go in the
They're
backyard.
on your property. You're allowed
It's
to
not
yell
my
at
pool.
them.
I don't have anything to do with it. I take care of the yard
It's your
work.
wife's pool. It's in your yard. It's in your territory.
No, it's not. It's in my way. That's what it is.
It's gonna dead your grass.
I'd like to take a weed whacker to the side of it, hopefully rip a big hole in it, but
Did you have a good Fourth? I still haven't even seen you.
yeah, it was
the first time I saw
different. We didn't really do anything or hang out with anybody.
Didn't go to the parade?
No, I didn't. Kids went to the parade,
What is wrong with you?
and then I don't even know what we
dare
did
you.
after that. We didn't do much. We hung around the house, and then we went to the fireworks.
You're getting pretty good at grilling. Proud of you.
I am. I did send you the pictures.
Yeah.
The corn was really good. I'm not a big corn on the cob guy, but
He got a Green Mountain pellet grill for his wife's birthday or Mother's Day. What'd you get it for?
I think it was Mother's
You got
Day.
it for her,
It
but
was
you,
Mother's. Yeah,
you're using it, which
I
is
use it.
I'm proud of you because he doesn't cook ever.
It's like buying her an Xbox, man. What the hell are you doing?
That is not true. My wife. That's not true. My wife loves to cook. I did bring it home. She was surprised, and she was like, "I don't know why you would buy this for me, but I'm gonna use it." And she does occasionally. I use it way more than she does.
Which I'm proud of you. Good for you, bro. Like,
We'll plan meals for the week. I'm like, can we grill Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday?
I cook outside, grill shit as much as I can, just because I don't want to deal with the heat inside the house.
Yeah, that's true. I just set it up out front of my garage, sit in the garage, drink some beer, cook food.
How you like the food trucks? They seem to be doing well. I mean, they're everywhere, right? It's almost like they're in their
Yeah,
own
summer we have
birth.
them almost every day. Wintertime it goes down to like 2-3 days a week because a lot of them shut down for the winter. But yeah, August I think we have them every day of the week except for like 4 days.
Damn.
That new wing truck you got in there quite a few times coming up.
Yeah, they're local.
Yeah.
That's a cool story. It's a father-son duo. They've been regulars for years now. And the moment food trucks happened, they were like, "Oh, we've always talked about maybe doing this together." And they put together some money, bought a truck. They spent like 4 months renovating the truck. But they're good dudes. Sean and Al told them they could have whatever days they wanted that weren't already booked.
No shit.
I do actually know Sean from school.
Do you?
Yeah, I've run into him, every now and then. I see him actually more now at Able, but I know Sean. Funny story. I went to prom with my girlfriend, and at the same prom, my wife was there with him. That was her date to prom, and I was at the same prom with someone different.
That must be interesting.
It wasn't even my prom.
I'm going to bring that up to him next time I see him.
It was funny because when we were in there recently, and he was in there. No, they were actually there with their truck, and he came in. I was like, "Hey, what's up?" My wife's sitting right there.
I don't know. Sean's a good cook.
The food looked really good. I saw a bunch of people with baskets of wings, and if I wasn't, I
You
should
should
have.
have got some.
Well, I had eaten before because we were going grocery shopping,
Shit is so good.
and we wanted to stop in and grab beer before we went grocery shopping. So I didn't eat because I had already eaten, but it looked really good.
Yeah, he does really
Makes
good
sense.
stuff.
But the the food truck, I think, is definitely on its rise since all the breweries are there because they have like a spot.
For
to
some
go.
reason, we're still the only brewery that's really doing them frequently. Like a lot
Oh,
of other
really?
breweries have tried to have them, but it just doesn't
getting it?
stick. I mean, part of that is local laws, like food truck laws in New Hampshire are kind of archaic because when they were written, a food truck was a roach coach driving around to industrial parks and harassing employees.
In the 70s.
Yeah.
So especially in Merrimack, where like we have some decently strict food truck laws in Merrimack. They're not as bad as some other places, but you know, it's an expense to do business in Merrimack, so it has to make sense for them to be able to like invest in it. But a lot of those laws go back to, you know, when Continental Boulevard was all industrial park, and then Fidelity opened, and you know, they didn't want roach coaches driving around from parking lot to parking lot peddling their wares. You know, so now it's 2019, and food trucks are a very different thing.
Yeah,
a lot of gourmet stuff comes out of back of food trucks. I mean, some of the best food I've ever had is out of a food truck.
Yeah, so we're trying to work with the town to try and make it easier. You know, it's a process, but I'm glad that we can have it. I'm glad it's not a federal law that says we can't do it, because then I'm not going to get anything fucking changed. But at the town level, like I can talk to the town manager, I can talk to the counselors, and we're working on trying to find like a healthy middle ground. But I think the entire issue is solved from, you know, health officer make sure they inspect the truck. So you pay your permit fee for the year, whoop-de-doo. And you have to have owner, because you have to park on private property, you have to have that owner's property or permission. So you can't just wander onto the Fidelity campus and set up out front. Like,
I mean, it makes sense.
I feel like we're getting close to it.
Is it any different than the yearly inspections they do on a restaurant? Like having to come in?
No.
So it's just basically an extra, if it's registered to the town, when they just...
Yeah, it's just, so for food trucks, it's kind of a pain in the butt, because every town you operate in, you have to deal with that health inspector, and...
there's
so
not a
each individual town has their own fee structure, which kind of sucks, because now
that's
like
a pain in the ass.
if I'm a food truck and I operate in Merrimack, in Manchester, and in Concord, I got to pay all 3 cities' fees and be seen by all 3 cities' health officers.
Wow.
Yeah. The benefit is you're not paying for a brick and mortar. You're not paying property tax.
Right.
You're not paying.
Yeah.
So there is a flip side. And that's why I think there's a healthy medium. There's a place we can get to, like, you know, I think we can recognize that in 2019, food trucks are different than what they were in the 80s and the 90s, and that trend is coming up into New Hampshire right now. And I think, you know, Merrimack is an opportunity to embrace that if local businesses want to host food trucks. So you solve the harassment problem by saying, yeah, they have to have permission.
Yeah.
Charge them one fee.
Just
have the
one
health
state
inspector
fee.
inspect them to make sure they're not shilling, you know, dog shit to the people of Merrimack.
Yeah.
Boom.
I told my wife that we were going to move to Florida and we were going to open up a food truck. Work as a family. It'll be a family business.
Yeah, and what kind of food truck would it be?
Hash. All different types of hash.
That's actually a good idea. I was really
like
skeptical about what kind of food truck. I saw
like my hash.
I saw like grilled cheese and sloppy joes, like.
Different
and the
types
truck
of
would
hash.
be called Sloppy Joe.
Yeah.
There.
It's actually...
What do you sell? Hash.
We sell hash.
Sloppy Joes are a good one.
That's a good idea for a truck.
Yeah. I like hash and making hash. Random shit. It's fun time. I enjoy cooking, but not enough to like actually physically
so like
pursue
potato
it.
hash, like with meats.
All different types of hash.
All right, what kind of potato do you
different
like to use the
potatoes.
most?
Sweet potato.
What kind?
Gross.
What kind?
What kind of sweet potato?
Yeah, what color?
I mean the orange kind.
Damn it.
Why?
The white sweet potatoes are even better, man.
Well, then
I've
I will have to
seen
look
a
for
white
them,
sweet
and I will
potato.
fuck- I've
Hannaford.
never
They
had
have them
one.
in Hannaford. So I used to live in the
That's the
Southwest. I saw them all the time. The only store I can find them at is the Hannaford, up in Bedford. They have orange sweet potatoes and white sweet potatoes. You gotta try.
That's
I'm
funny you
gonna
say
have to
that
go
because
there.
that's the only
White
place
sweet
I've ever seen them.
potatoes have like a little bit of the sweetness of like an orange sweet potato, but they got like the hardiness and the meatiness of
really?
I love white sweet potatoes, man.
Sounds interesting. I got big into purees for a while.
Yeah, I'm not going down that.
Yeah, I was on some
Maybe
like
buy,
weird
like, a
puree
NutriBullet
kick,
or
dude.
something,
No,
whatever the
man,
fuck
it was
that
just
shit
a
is.
food processor. Like, and I was just,
Oh,
I'm
man.
like, I'm just gonna fucking puree some shit. And she's like, seriously? I'm like, yep. I've done cauliflower, which is good. I've done different potatoes. What the fuck
I
is the
admire
other?
your creativity.
The only one that I did that
But
was
I am
kind
not
of
a
weird was the
customer.
parsnip. It's very weird. It's like a sweet.
I like your
Rudy.
hash idea better.
Yeah, no. I definitely enjoy
if you
hash.
put
Different
pureed
meats.
cauliflower on a menu, nobody's buying.
No. It's good, bro. It's smooth. It's like a whipped cream almost. Like I don't even know how to.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, I'm not trying that.
It's like eating Cool Whip, but not. It doesn't.
And I'm
taste
outnumbered
like
on
Cool
the
Whip.
sweet potato thing, so I'm not even.
You
I don't like sweet
Expand
potatoes.
your palate,
I have
bro.
seen white sweet potatoes. Don't like sweet
You ever
potatoes.
done purple
period.
potatoes?
yes,
I
not
love purple potatoes.
not as a hash. So that's a good idea. Usually a lot of sweet potatoes for us. The kids don't
Psychedelic
eat
hash.
potatoes. So
Favorite potato?
probably sweet, like the orange sweet. I enjoy more
red
than
skin
like.
potatoes. This is a weird topic of conversation, but
Cut up, grilled up in some tin foil on the grill. Best way to have them.
dude,
Yeah,
hash
potato
truck. It's
potato
a
bun.
really good idea.
Yeah.
Might steal that.
That's fine. I'll come work
3
for you.
months from now, when you
Just a
go to
truck with
Able, like,
burners and cast iron pans.
is that a fucking
Yeah.
hash truck?
Like,
Two dudes just fucking chilling.
different type of meats. Fucking, I've used venison when my friend gave me when Dave gave me some steaks.
Good.
Uh,
How'd you
pork,
do yours?
chicken, fucking all different types of shit. Like whatever I got for meat left over, it's hash time.
I like that.
We just called that like 2 days till grocery shopping when I was a kid. Throw some potatoes and a bunch of shit together.
That's a good idea.
I don't buy
it
the
is.
same food that I had as a kid.
I don't buy that. No, I'm
Alright.
saying as a kid, that's what it was. Like,
Yeah.
oh, we got all these leftovers and a bunch of potatoes.
Yeah.
Dad would be like, fucking shit on the shingle or hash. That's what we're eating. 2 days till grocery shopping.
You know what? I should serve that for my kids. They have never had shit on a shingle. I should make them see. When they just look at it like, what the fuck is that? That's right, you're eating this. This is what I had to eat. We threatened them one time. It was like, listen, you're going to go a week. My wife's father recently passed. So we were talking that her growing up was very, very different than mine grew up. Because I basically grew up without a dad and a mom that worked all the time. And she grew up with only her dad because her mom had left. So he was very strict. He had 5 kids. 4 of her brothers or boys are all older. The one right above her is a fucking former Ranger. Like the oldest one is the commander in fucking Navy. Like one
And then
designs
there's her.
microchips. One the middle brother's kind of he's normal. He's regular. There's nothing like he does insurance stuff. He's pretty regular. So we're good. But I was like, fuck, I'm never gonna live up to any of this shit. But anyways, we were telling the kids that her life was very strict. They had, you barely get any snacks because you're buying for a fucking whole family of growing boys. It's like homework time, and then you sit at the table the rest of the time, study or do fucking whatever, but you don't get to move. They didn't have cable growing up, so there was no like family TV time. They only had an hour of screen between the 5 of them. So it's like you get that for a week. Like, what the fuck? And I'm like, all right. But then after that, you get to live like dad. I had no supervision, and I was outside all day. Good luck with that. They're like, why would you do this? I'm like, that's just how we grew up.
Yeah.
Fucking like we were fucking the dogs from Lady and the Tramp, or what's the other one? Seriously, we just roamed streets.
It was.
Like,
I mean,
like I don't know how to explain
That's
it.
what
Like
we
we
did.
just
I've tried-
roam streets. Like that's what we did.
We stole cones out of the road from a construction site to
Yep.
make end zones.
I grew up on military bases, and you had to be really sneaky because on a military base, if your kid gets in trouble,
Yeah.
the parent gets in trouble. So we had to be real sneaky where we went and played and hung out, and we'd have rock fights. They had one of the bases we lived on had storage containers all stacked up in this fenced-in area, but the gate was blown off. Like there was no gate on it, so we'd go in there and we'd play hide and seek or have rock fights and shit, and almost got caught a couple times, but. That's where we roamed. It was a little bit safer than the civilian
because you were
world.
still fenced in.
Yeah, we didn't have to worry about strange vans that said free puppies on it. But
That's a fair point.
you did not.
I never
get
saw
caught.
that van.
Me neither.
Nah, me neither. My sister, I guess my sister almost got grabbed
Abducted?
one day, but I wasn't living with my family then, so she was kind of young, like 10. I don't know. But yeah, I've explained to my kids what we used to eat when I was a kid. Because, okay, I had never had real steak, like properly cooked steak.
Oh, you mean steak that wasn't gray and overdone?
Like done in a skillet, but way too overcooked. Like that's what I thought steak was supposed to be growing up because I just didn't get it all that often. And when I did, it was cooked like that. And then my wife's family ate like roast beef dinners and like steak all the time. And like my kids eat steak all the time. I'm like, you know what? Instead of steak and eggs tomorrow, you get Spam. That's what you get. I'm going to slice it up nice and thin and throw it in the pan. That's what you get to eat. We lived off TV dinners and like macaroni and cheese and processed food for days. We shopped at a base commissary where you could buy like a month's worth of food for like $150. Cartons of cigarettes were like $10. Jesus. My wife did not grow up like that.
I'm glad you came to hang out.
Yeah, man, I am too.
It was fun.
You got your headlines ready?
So part of the new show is headlines. I randomly select some headlines. At first, I used to
There's
share.
a lot of good ones going on right now.
Yeah, at first.
Well, these are the serious ones. This is where it gets...
I try to get ones like...
All right, if one of them's not Epstein,
always.
I'm gonna judge you.
No, I didn't. One of them is not Epstein because I try not. Everybody's talking about Epstein, so I try to not.
Got it.
I try to find some ones that maybe you aren't going to talk about. Or
these are the
about.
less serious ones.
So UFC was just passed this weekend. Diego Sanchez, the Nightmare, as he was once called, he was going against Michael Chiesa. Chiesa won by decision, I believe. And it turns out that his asshole got fingered. Like, and there's a picture of Diego Sanchez's fingers. Like, I mean, he's kind of knuckle deep up in the
How does that even
the
happen?
Shorts.
Oh, through the shorts,
like
with
in
the shorts.
Yeah.
Wait,
He's not
which
like
one,
he's not
which
like
one won? The one who got fingered, or the one who didn't?
the one that got fingered.
One.
Yes.
I don't know. Is that a bonus in the UFC?
I don't know. So the one that's on top right now, he's the one that's getting the finger in his ass.
That's uncomfortable. How do you make eye contact with somebody after that?
I mean, yeah, especially when you're standing there, or the hug after. Like,
Yeah.
oh, it was a good match. But basically, Chiesa outclassed him. Which, I mean, Sanchez is old. He's been, I think they said he's been going for like 18 years. He's been in the UFC fighting. He was on like the first one.
Been around for 18 years.
They just celebrated 20.
I know they celebrated like 25.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah.
But I guess if I
It's
think
such
about
a-
it, I
it's
have
so
been
new
watching
still,
it since
but yeah.
just out of high school, so that's a little less than 20 years.
Sorry, the chat gets me sometimes. You just see new shit. Like I said, live every Wednesday with the chat. You got Heather from Zero Fucks Given saying, "Hey guys, hey guys."
I just try to not look over there.
Yeah, because he's worried that they're talking shit about him.
I don't really care if they're talking shit. That doesn't bother me.
worries.
It's the video stream when I can see that it's really distracting.
Because of your white legs that
Not
show through.
anymore.
Because you don't.
I got a nice little sheen.
Not compared to your face or your arms that you
that's
show
true.
off.
Well, that's true. I work in jeans all the time. I went to the beach. I got some sun on them.
Yeah, I saw you with your shirt on, so you don't even have like a full even tan.
No, I do. It's getting better. I took my shirt off at home. Got a little. I think I went like 1 or 2 shades on the top. It's starting to blend, but I've gotten it all the way up to the collarbone on both arms now. I'm not completely farmer tan.
Surprised you don't just wear tank tops at work.
I would if I just need to get some.
Yeah.
I think my work actually gave me some that I have in a drawer somewhere. That's a good idea. I need to look for those.
Yeah, all right. Buffalo Wild Wings waitress was fired for telling a black customer, "Don't take this racially," as she was carding them. But sometimes you can only tell that they see their face when they're smiling or because of their eyes.
Yo, if I'm with that dude, I'm laughing.
Like, bro.
Like, what are you going to do right now?
But yeah, so she was fired because obviously that's racial.
Yeah.
It's racially insensitive.
I don't really have an opinion on that one.
That's all right.
I don't know if we're allowed to today.
You can have an
That's
opinion.
an old joke, but it's not
I
not
think-
a good idea in 2019.
No. A woman dies after being impaled by a reusable straw. You know, the metal straws?
Well, she was meant to go. They call that Darwinism. I'm
It's
sorry.
California's fault.
I mean, is it their fault?
Aren't they the ones that got
sea
rid of
turtles? I mean, a lot of places have stopped. Like McDonald's, even that Common Man here. We go
Buckley's?
every Friday night. No, Common.
Oh.
On exit 11 fucking.
Oh, yeah.
So we would go to you guys more, but we wait for her to go to sleep, and then he watches her just so it's easier. The times that we get out earlier, we've gone to Able, but majority of the time it's Common Man. And then they have paper straws. Like, they switched from them little plastic stirs because I get Jameson majority of the time.
I don't like the paper straws at all.
No, I take them out.
They
Like
fall apart.
they're annoying. Yeah, they do not last.
I don't even think I've ever seen a paper straw.
Yeah,
you're talking about the little thin stirring ones, right?
They're like thin cardboard.
Yeah, they're not
really?
like that. Yeah. It's like if you took a
they
roll
fall
of,
apart if they sit in your drink too long.
Yes.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
Yes. So
That's
you have to drink
ridiculous.
faster so you go
They
through
also
it.
cost like 4 times as much.
Do they really?
Do they really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But they're not in the ocean.
I mean, okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't care.
lot of
I don't
ocean
care
out
for them
there.
either. I think if anything,
I stopped drinking out of straws when I was 12. So.
yeah,
yeah.
I don't use them, but they put them in the
See, I
cup
can't-
like to stir.
I can't say I don't because I do with my iced coffee, but that's really the only time I ever use a straw.
Do
is
you?
an iced coffee. Yeah,
Oh, you buy iced coffee?
I do. You know what?
Do
I
you?
do actually have one of those reusable straws that I got from my bougie coffee place in town.
All right. Well, she had a metal straw. She went in to make a drink, and her husband found her on the kitchen floor with the straw impaled through the eye, and
That sounds
lights
awful
out.
suspicious. That
Dude, I was
the
like,
husband found her. Come on.
oopsie. She probably slipped on the fucking floor. You know, she's wet being out by the pool.
Fell on a reusable straw.
Hey, man, it's fucking
I think he's right though. If that happens, it's your time to go.
secrets of billions of ancient Japanese texts. That sounds horrible. I don't know why they wrote the title like that.
Stop going to the Onion for your headlines.
That's not the Onion, bro. It's number 9 news.
I
Okay.
can't trust any news site that has
Ancient
grammatical errors
Japanese
in there.
texts were decoded by AI. Google basically is decoding all these old texts that are supposed to hold all of these secrets. The content of billions of ancient texts written in a now obsolete Japanese script have long puzzled researchers, and they finally got an AI to decode it.
And the results were?
Technology is a beautiful thing.
It doesn't really say.
That was
They're going to be doing it for a
anticlimactic.
while.
Yeah, they're still going through. They're just saying that they have some of the stuff, but there's so many different characters. It's gonna take them a long time to actually decipher and change shit because it's an obsolete language. You could almost like make shit up at that point, couldn't you?
I guess so. I mean, if the AI is the only thing that understands it,
Right.
it's like Alexa just fucking with people, making up shit.
That shit's nerve-wracking. Cool, but nerve-wracking. I mean, eventually, right, you're going to have a sex robot that might get some sort of, even if it's a program
Wow, that
that it will
escalated
learn.
quickly.
Well, I'm just saying, right?
That's-
Eventually,
There's
they're
so
going to
many
be
things
like,
in between, like
I'm
from
just-
your cell phone to a sex robot. There are so many
are
things
there,
you could.
though? Like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, they're just your AI.
No, it's just of all the places you could have gone with where technology is going, you went straight to sex robots.
We have
I'm
all
just-
this intelligent hour-long
I'm just saying
conversation
you
about
have
blockchain and
the
Bitcoin.
you have
we
the
learned
climate.
a lot. We learned a lot about Joe right there.
Yeah.
We have a lot.
Oh, he already said he would replace his arm with a robotic arm without
fuck
even
yeah.
something wrong with it, and he would
I'll go
buy a sex
cyborg.
robot if he.
No, I won't do that. I'll go cyborg. But what
Didn't
I'm
you
saying
say
is,
you were gonna
sex
go
robot?
in with somebody to buy one? You would split the cost with someone.
No. They
That
wanted
was
to buy one. Hell no, I ain't paying for that shit. I got other shit to pay for, boats and shit and trucks and cars. Who knows? But I would pay for that fucking robotic arm. I'll be the iRobot shit. Fucking bring it on.
Have you seen the Tesla
Bring
truck?
it on. No.
Tesla has a truck. They have a couple prototypes that they're working on, but they're close to putting it out. But Elon Musk says he wants to put out a truck that is more powerful than the Dodge Ram and costs less than $50,000. You can Google a picture of the one that they have right now, and it's pretty bold looking. It's got the letters on the front are like a foot tall, but it says Tesla right across the grill. And
I like how you went like 6 inches and was like a foot tall.
my hand doesn't go that.
I know, so I
can't-
probably
could've
would've just gone like
I
that,
guess,
yeah.
but
Probably would have just.
they
gone,
were
you know.
huge.
All right.
So
I believe.
I'd be down to buy a truck that was fully electric and more powerful than a Dodge Ram
But there are those now.
We'll see.
for less than $50,000.
Oh, that
No, I
is-
think
no,
the
probably
Ram.
not. I mean,
I think
you
the
probably
Ram
get
is
to use
actually the
them
most powerful like towing hauling truck out there.
right now.
I think so. I think
When
they're rated
all
the
like
highest.
Interesting.
8 to 10,000,
Yeah,
you
it's-
let me know.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're.
But the funny
Dude,
part is
trucks
he
are-
says
trucks
less
are
than
expensive.
50,000, but the price tag is 49,300.
$49,999.
Like, I mean,
Yeah.
yes, it's less than 50,000, but I mean, it's all electric. 400 miles.
But what I was saying about the sex robots was more like the Me Too, like how long before they, become a thing, and then all of a sudden have their Me Too thing because of AI, where they realize that no, we have
Now you're
rights
getting into the
also.
philosophy.
This is
of
why I
it.
tried to steer it to a
I
truck.
don't.
Because I knew this
you
is
start-
where he's
nope,
going.
This is a great sci-fi thing. This is when you get into the philosophy of when do we consider artificial intelligence sentient?
Right.
Star
Like
Trek
when-
standard. Yeah, beings have to be sentient. So when do they self-awareness? Basically.
When does that?
When do they realize that they?
Oh
are,
shit! I'm a robot.
Start feeding them mushrooms.
that they exist. Once they realize that
They'll
they
find
exist.
consciousness.
Don't tell my plan. That's my story. We can talk about that off air.
That's not really your story.
That is my story.
That's a theory that came from.
No. Right, but we talked about.
Oh, yeah,
doing
yeah,
things.
yeah,
Shh.
yeah. Sorry.
We'll nix that. At least it's been recorded. It's my shit.
You can delete it. Just
I'm
put
not
like a
gonna
block.
delete it. Anyways.
It's live on YouTube.
But yeah, that's more where I was going with that. But anyways, a Texas grandmother fell 3 years ago, and her daughter just let her decay on the floor. Police found her.
Gross.
Yes.
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
Like just the smell alone.
Gross. No, it was dumb. I don't know why I put that on because nobody knows who the fuck that is. Crystalia, you know who that is? Crystalia is obviously who
Comedian.
stand-up
He's really funny,
comedian.
actually.
Dude. So Eminem's been doing freestyles, different shit on BT. Did like one about Trump and other shit. And the way that his cadence was, Chris kind of mocked it and put out a tweet of him in a car, just kind of making fun of it. It's kind of funny. And then, Eminem released another one, and then Crystalia did one where he's in the garage and kind of just same cadence, not really saying fucking words, but just same cadence and acting like him the way that he walked around in those recently released freestyles or whatever. So Eminem retweeted the tweet and was like, oh shit, for a minute there I thought that was me, and fucking tagged Crystalia, right? So then fast forward some months, year maybe, Eminem does a song with Logic recently called Homicide. It's a dope track, but Eminem takes part of what Chris D'Elia said in one of his little mock videos and incorporated it into his verse. And then at the end of the song, it's Chris D'Elia's verse. It's the audio of him mocking the shit. Like it's hysterical. So they just did a song or a video for it, and they got body doubles to play Logic and Eminem. And Logic's character is Squints from The Sandlot. Body doubles for
he's actually a dead ringer almost.
Kind of minus the hair, but yeah. And then Chris D'Elia did Eminem's part, and Eminem did Chris D'Elia's part. So basically, Chris D'Elia's star power has that puts him on a tier. You know what I mean? Like that's definitely raised his stock. I mean, he's a funny fucking dude. He's got a couple specials on Netflix.
It jacked his followers.
But that,
basically. That's how you tell how where somebody is in the celebrity.
So he, if you see the video, like he's jacked in the fucking video. Like, but I guess he's getting ready for Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead, and it's Omar Hardwick, Chris D'Elia, and a couple other people. So he's gonna be in a fucking zombie movie directed by Zack Snyder.
Dope.
Yeah,
that's gonna be good.
That'll be good.
So that's why he's so jacked. But it's
Well, it was a long way to get to that point.
Well, because I had to explain.
Well, you could have just sent him the links. He's not gonna.
This is a talking podcast, sir. I mean, you're supposed to talk about shit.
Okay, fine.
Anyways.
Now I have a Netflix comedy special I need to watch or two.
Yeah.
And I have a Zack Snyder movie to look forward to.
Mm. Fair point. And some music videos to watch if you really get bored.
Yep.
With all the time you got on your hands. Check out Chris D'Elia in his rapping debut.
You can do it while you're driving. Pentagon ordered to tell Congress if it weaponized ticks and release them into the public.
Yep, I've heard this.
I thought it was a joke at first.
No, man,
It's
Plum
not.
Island. That's where Lyme disease came from.
Plum Island?
Yeah.
Really?
It used to be a chemical weapons testing facility for the U.S. government, supposedly.
Yeah.
And the The conspiracy is that they were developing Lyme disease as a way to subtly weaken a population. And then it escaped from Plum Island because deer are known to swim across the Long Island Sound. And from Plum Island back to the mainland, and some ticks, and that's why like Lyme, New Hampshire was the origination. That's the conspiracy theory.
That's an interesting one. I might look into that.
So now supposedly recently someone's like, Pentagon has documents that prove it, and we're demanding that they release them. So that's the news.
That's exactly right.
That's even more out there than
Reddit.
last conspiracy I heard about.
Get on Reddit.
I'm gonna have to get on Reddit and figure out how to fucking use it. Leon Edwards, who fought not this last card with Jorge Masvidal, but a couple before it that Jorge was on and won. They had the beef backstage. We talked about briefly, like they were fighting in the background. He just left the interview to go like talk shit and was ready to fucking like throw down. But security was there. All right. So, anyways, he was mad because Jorge Masvidal, if you watched 2 weeks ago, I think it was the night of the 6th, he KO'd Ben Askren in 5 seconds. He's got the fastest knockout in the UFC now. He ran at him with a flying knee and cracked his fucking head. And then hit him 2 more times afterwards, but he was already out there. Those second punches were, I fucking hate you, and the ref better stop me or I'm just going to keep going. Then he got 2 off, but it was like he was out, dude, from the knee. Like, it was crazy. It is a beautiful knee. I'll show you after the show. If you haven't seen it, just Google Masvidal KOs Ben Askren. Askren is like a wrestler that's... He's been the long mystery of the UFC, like, because he was never in the UFC until recently. And it's not that he's at the end of his career, but he's kind of at the end. But he's just more of a grappler. Like a wrestler, one of the best wrestlers. But that's his skill. So he'll out-wrestle you and put you down. And after that, like, if you can last, which nobody has, he was undefeated 19-0. Went before he got knocked the fuck out, but only his last fight before this one was Robbie Lawler, and he beat him up, but he didn't put him out. And this one, dude, fucking flying knee, 5 seconds. I showed Logan, like, we just watched it on replay because it's so quick,
just
dude.
on a loop.
Yeah, well, it was like a video that because Askren talked shit the whole time, like for a long time about Jorge, and even more recently, like as they were gearing up for the fight, just talking that shit. And Masvidal don't play like that. He used to do like street fights in Florida with fucking Kimbo Slice. Like not fight Kimbo Slice, but be on the same video. Yeah, he's fucking
old school fighter.
Yeah, he's Thug Jesus. That's what or Street Jesus. That's what they call him because of his hair, his little beard. Like, but yeah, he don't play that fucking talking shit game, and he showed Askren. So we already talked about the Facebook app. One that I put on for you. Chris Pratt attacked for wearing a racist, quote unquote, Navy flag T-shirt because it had the don't tread on me. It was American flag with.
How's that racist?
Because there were slaves back then. I don't know.
For the same reason the Betsy Ross flag is offensive. I don't know, man.
Same thing. And then
people are making shit up right now, but
basically, right? That's
so
how
the
I feel
news.
about it.
So the major news is picking these stories up, but I don't think people are listening to them. People are seeing through the bullshit. Like I feel like no one learned a lesson from 2016. People see through the bullshit. Like people like Chris Pratt, and they don't see anything racist about a T-shirt that he's wearing, but someone's trying to make a story out of it because someone might be offended. And I'm so, like, as loud as the people who are offended are, they are a very small minority of the average American, and that's why Trump fucking won. Like, you just keep digging your grave for 2020. Like,
no, I agree. I think it's fucking ridiculous. Like, especially the Betsy Ross flag one. Like, I'm like, it's stop looking at like what had happened then.
Out of the hundreds of people that loved it, 3 people didn't. And boo-hoo, who gives a shit?
I will rock that T-shirt and them Betsy Ross Nikes. I don't care.
I'm not gonna.
I'm more offended.
But that's my thing. Like that's my thing. So like, Nike decided not to make the Betsy Ross shoe. You know what did happen? The number of independent shoe companies that decided, and the independent T-shirt. Every company's now putting Betsy Ross flags on their shit, and they're selling through all of it. So the "Don't Tread on Me" flag, like Chris Pratt just upped whoever sells "Don't Tread on Me" flags. Like everyone's gonna go out and buy them now.
I mean, I'm not offended by the Betsy Ross flag on a pair of Nikes. I'm more a little put off that they're trying to make money off of the 4th of July by selling shoes for it. But I mean, I'm not even offended by it.
What?
Like Nike using the Independence Day to sell shoes, special shoes, because you know those are going to end up in sneakerhead hands and they're going to end up being resold for like stupid money because they're only going to put a limited amount of them out, right?
That's fine. I'm not a customer.
So. Whatever.
I'm not a customer either. I'm not offended. I'm just saying I'm a little more put off by that than the fact that they put a Betsy Ross flag on it. I mean, that's not even that offensive. I don't know.
I'm not offended by any of it.
I'm not.
That's my show's artwork, which is kind of in commemorative, not of it, but more of the Betsy Ross thing. Because stop looking at what was then, even if you are offended. You gotta look at the idea, not of like the fucking mistakes. Like shit happens. Not to make light of anything, but it fucking look at the idea of what we're supposed to be if we come together, not if we fight. Or don't be offended. Fuck off. I don't fucking care.
If only more people were open-minded like you.
Shut up. 3-year-old's charred body was found, and the mother-son duo admitted to revenge killing. Yeah, pretty dark, huh?
Very.
Fucking pop-ups. A 3-year-old's missing body. 3-year-old's missing boy's charred body was found by police in India. India is a fucking rugged place. I don't think I ever want to go to. Man. I don't think I ever want to go to it. The boy reportedly went outside to his home to buy chocolates. He was kidnapped, and when the boy didn't return, his family panicked, obviously filed a report, and it turned out that the people that kidnapped him did it because they are in an act of vengeance against the other family. It's like some mafia type shit back in the day.
Shitty.
Crazy. Nothing, no? You're like, fucking, it's too dark for my blood?
I'm just not paying attention to that kind of stuff. It is a little too dark.
It's too much negativity.
Too much. By the way, the knees are 2 shades darker. Next time they'll be better. we got a bright weekend coming. I'm gonna get some sun on these legs. They're making fun of my knees again.
I did have a good community one.
I don't understand how you're wearing jeans right now.
I'm sweating. I made a bad choice, and fucking I gotta stick with it. Sometimes you just gotta commit. I don't want to go out on that one. That seemed pretty sad. I thought I had one more, but apparently I fucking did not put it on. Let's see.
Here's a lighthearted one.
Okay, go ahead.
Gears 5, facing a little bit of backlash because they took the guy the head developer, took smoking out of the game and refuses to put it back in.
That's your good story?
Yeah, how is that?
That was lighthearted compared to a kid that got kidnapped and died.
So you go to the outrage culture?
That's not outrage. I'm not outraged by it.
Madden released all of the ratings for all the NFL players, and all these NFL players are now on social media bitching about their ratings. Tom Brady had the best one though, because Tom Brady has like the slowest speed of any quarterback, and so he had his buddy he put on his Instagram like a video of him running across his yard, but he had it edited so it looked like he was fucking taking off, like smoke trailing behind him.
They're actually changing that this year. They're going to training camps and they're adjusting. They're sending people. EA are sending people for the developers to training camps around the NFL, and they're gonna do rating systems based on. It's gonna be an evolving rating system through the season. So as a player plays through the season, their rating will go higher every week based on how they played. Yep. So they're going to do their base ratings. I think they already have their base ratings now, and then they're going to go to training camp, all training camp, and through the preseason.
And they'll always adjust, yeah.
And they'll adjust through that. So at the start of the season, your rating could be
I'm excited
much
about
better.
Madden 20. It's like the only video game I buy.
It's actually the first time I'm really excited about a Madden game. The changes that I've read about them making in the game could be probably the most improvements that they've made in the Madden game.
I'm a believer.
I mean, 19 was good. 18 was meh. Anything before that was the 25 edition was
2005
trash.
was the best one. That was the defense. Hit stick. That was the best year.
Fair point. Was that the Michael Vick? No, that
Ray
wasn't.
Lewis year.
That was the Ray Lewis year. The Michael Vick one was good, too. The first year he was in the game, you could outrun anybody.
My nephew used to fuck me up with Stafford. He would run fucking backwards forever and then launch the fucking ball like across the field. I'm like, what the fuck is this bullshit? This is bullshit. I ain't playing this fucking kid. Fuck off.
You can do that with Mahomes. They actually put a feature in the game for Madden 20 where Mahomes has his own special, like, I think they call it a talent, where he can now throw, because his thing is like throwing off foot across the field. Like, that's just his.
Accurately.
Yeah, accurately, though. And they have a boost that you can put on.
Yeah, so this year they built in special features for specific players, like who can do something that no other player can do.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
I think Cam Newton has one.
Yeah, I think a lot of the superstar players have these abilities. So it's
maybe Tom Brady could have like a running boost where he goes from like a 5 to a 10 for like.
Tom Brady definitely has something. I just don't remember what it is. And he's rated like a 96 overall. He's like the 3rd or 4th.
Is he really?
Yeah.
That might be one of the higher ratings
But his
he's
speed
had.
Sucks.
It's like a 5.
If you're ever in Merrimack, New Hampshire, go to Ebenezer. Sample their beer from the Victory nor Defeat, which is one of my favorites. Actually,
All of them.
I don't think there's one that I've had where I'm like, nope. Like, I could drink all of them at any given time. I will say the Ingenuity number 3, though, is definitely my jam. I do like the New England style IPAs a lot, and that one.
Number 4 will be better.
It was short-lived, though.
Dude, I was so mad at it. I barely got number 2. I only got.
I was afraid you weren't even going to.
No, I came back Sunday. We stopped by, and I was like, "You're all out of 4-packs?" Yep, sold out yesterday. Fuck. All right, man. Well, I'll just take a growler, I guess. Damn it.
Yeah, it went quick. It's done, man.
Yeah,
it's good, dude.
I had my father-in-law go the day that you guys released it, and I was like, grab like 2 or 3 of them because who knows. And the funny thing was, I told him show up. They open at 4. Show up. Make sure you're there at 4 because it's probably going to get crowded with a new beer going straight to canning. Yeah. And he's like, yeah, I mean, I grabbed them. I sat there for a couple, and they really actually opened at 1. I was like, damn, you were 3 hours behind, and you still were able to get them.
Cans went quick.
Yeah,
it was good. It was a very good beer.
Always a pleasure. Anytime, brother. Anytime.
Oh, man.
I love fucking hanging out.
We got to go. Sauna.
Yeah, it's getting hot. Thank you to the chat that was there. Like I said, all the podcast platforms, whatever you want, any podcast, YouTube Live every Wednesday night. Come join the chat. And other than that, any pod we'll do on Twitter and Instagram. Here, Able Ebenezer on Facebook.
Yep.
It's Able EB Beer on Twitter. And Instagram is Able Ebenezer also, yeah.
Yep.
He passed the test. Got them all.
I don't do fucking Snapchat and all that other shit. I ain't got time for that.
Apparently neither does he.
Yeah, I don't.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that. Thank you for hanging out.
Later.